shortly announcing compensation because it was very sad news. It was unfortunate. It was an accident, and yesterday we were helpless to save the life of people.
Given that this is a massive hospital, a massive medical facility, there should have been procedures in place.
No. Everything was there. But in case of accident, what can you do?
At 7:30 p.m. on Monday, fire broke out at dialysis ward of SUM Hospital in Bhubaneswar, reportedly due to a short circuit. And within a matter of 10 minutes, the blaze spread to ICU Ward. While the fire tenders rushed to the spot, the massive blaze consumed the first floor of the hospital.
आँख खोल करके देखी और रोई भी और कुछ बात करने की कोशिश की लेकिन कर नहीं पाई। तब हमने सोचा ठीक है, हमने इतना पैसा खर्च करके लाया, कुछ सार्थक हुआ। लेकिन 7 बजे तो पता चल गया है। हम 7 बजे मेरा भाई था, छोटा भाई, वो टेलीफोन करके बताया कि आग लग गया है।
The raging fire destroyed around 50 beds and filled the second floor with smoke. It was only at around 10 in the night that the fire was brought under control. But it was already too late for many. Patients are still coming to terms with their loss.
वो SUM हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट थे। जस्ट 2 मिनट हुआ उनको छोड़ के उनके बेटा नीचे आए थे तो आग लग गया ऐसा। उसके बाद वो दौड़ के गए तो पूरा दरवाजा बंद है, कोई खोलता नहीं, छोड़ता नहीं, वहीं पे खत्म हो गए थे।
Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik, who visited the hospital at midnight, had to face the wrath.
The government will see that all the costs for the injured will be looked after, and I've ordered an RDC inquiry into this whole matter.
But even as the death toll rises, a blame game has begun. While the hospital administration has denied any lapses, fire officials told India Today that fire safety audits have not been conducted for the past 3 years. And the earlier audit showed glaring lapses.
Everything functioning normally. It is open. Most of the wards are functioning. Patients, those who have gone back to their families and relatives' house yesterday, they have come back.
Well, I'll put it this way. Our officers who attended the call yesterday, I had a review meeting with all of them in the morning today, and they've given me certain feedback about what's happened.
The Bhubaneswar hospital fire tragedy once again brings to the core issues of medical negligence that plagues Indian healthcare system and a complete lack of safety mechanisms. Angry families of the victims now raise several questions as to how the fire could spread to the very sensitive intensive care unit. And even if the fire had broken out due to a short circuit, how was it that the hospital management failed to contain it at the very beginning?
As the outrage peaks, an FIR has been filed against hospital authorities. Interestingly, even as the hospital management denied negligence, it has suspended 3 officials. Bureau Report, India Today.
And I think the bigger tragedy is that most of us have become so immune to horrors like this that we just shake our head and we move on. What gives people like the spokesperson of the SUM Medical College and Hospital the gall to say that it was an accident, we were completely helpless, and it's just the system, that's just the way things work? Neelam Krishnamurthy, have things only progressively become worse over the years? Because you are someone who has fought this very system that the SUM management spoke about. The Upar tragedy, look where it ended. What happened to the sense of justice? And it's perhaps verdicts like that, the investigation like that, which gives people the confidence that they'll also get away scot-free.
You're absolutely right, Padmaja. It is the Upar verdict which has emboldened people like the owners of SUV Hospital, where they can go around making such statements that this is an accident and what is it that we could have done. So I think if there is no deterrence of law in this country, you will embolden each and every one of them to flout all the fire safety measures and play with the, the lives of ordinary citizens. Because it doesn't matter to the investigative agency, it doesn't matter to the courts. As far as I'm concerned, this is murder by willful negligence. And I don't think anywhere else in the world these kind of cases are treated so lightly. If you see the similarities in these type of cases, you will find each of them the same. People have died due to asphyxia. The public address system was non-functional. Here, the patients were abandoned by the staff. In Upar, the patrons were abandoned by the staff. In AMRI also, the patients were abandoned. So what is different between now and 97? I think it's the same thing, but as a nation, we just fail to learn, because as a nation, we have no fire safety culture. And this will never come because we are not tough on these people, because maybe, you know, for the government, it's the corporate sector which matters more, and they forget about the vote bank. Is the ordinary people's life, you know, which is at stake. Because I'm very sad to say that when a minister loses his life in a road accident, the government very promptly thinks of bringing in a law to deal with the road safety. But here ordinary people are dying, and I've been asking for a law to deal with man-made disaster, but unfortunately the government doesn't even pay heed to it. I've written to them so many times. At least the UPA government had done something about it. There is a law commission report which is there. They don't want to imply it. I just want to know why not. Are these ordinary people's life not precious enough? I mean, it is just there for the government.
Well, so Mr. J.R. Das can just shrug his shoulders and blame the system, but Neelam Krishnamurthy can feel the pain of the relatives of those 20 people who died yesterday at the SUM Hospital. And we've got, in fact, the Vice Chancellor of the hospital itself, Dr. Amit Banerjee, is now joining us from Bhubaneswar. Dr. Banerjee, can you please tell me exactly how you can condone, first of all, can you condone what the spokesperson for your hospital said today afternoon, where he said that we did nothing wrong, there was no shortcoming, it's an accident, things happen?
Good evening. First of all, let me express our heartfelt condolences for those whose lives have been lost, and those who are survivors, but those who have got injuries and are undergoing treatment in the hospital. Let us together pray for them. You asked me a question whether I condone the statement of the spokesperson of the hospital, who said, but you know, since I have not heard exactly what he has said.
Okay, just hold on for a second. Dr. Amit Banerjee, hold on for a second. Can we please play that statement? Because I have exactly those very statements that he has made to us in the afternoon today. Beginning with where he's saying, when he was asked what resulted in the death of 20 people, let's listen to what he said. Can we please play that?
So but why have you suspended them when you say that it was not a fault on your part?
Even if it is not a fault, when there is an accident, suppose a bus collides with the individual and bus driver says, I do not have fault, but he is arrested. He is suspended by the owner.
But you don't accept any shortcoming on part of the hospital?
Shortcoming is not there.
Why such a late response, sir?
This is a system. This is the process time, not late response. Not late response. This is the system.
This is a massive hospital, a massive medical facility. There should have been procedures in place.
Everything was there. But in case of accident, what can you do?
So what resulted in the death of 19 lives?
We are shortly announcing compensation because it was very sad news. It was unfortunate. It was an accident. And yesterday we were helping.
Dr. Amit Banerjee, it's the system. 20 people died. Some of them were burnt, some were asphyxiated, and then you are expressing condolences. It's cold comfort for the people who've just heard Mr. Behra in the afternoon. What do you have to say now?
What is the name of the person who was on the line?
His name is J.R. Das. His name is J.R. Das, and he's the dean of your institute.
All right.
Yes.
All right. J.R. Das is our associate dean, and I'm not very sure whether the portion of the conversation which was played out by you just now, you know, whether it is the full conversation or part of it. But what I most humbly suggest is
Dr. Amit Banerjee, let me place it on record that I have myself heard the whole conversation, and that is the whole conversation. There is no editing or doctoring, if that is what you're suggesting. Yes, it would sound like that because that's just how unbelievably callous it was. But no, it wasn't doctored. That's exactly what your representative said, sir. I can imagine your disbelief. I experienced the same feelings, but that's what he said.
You know, I most humbly suggest that since I am the administrative head of the organization and I am here before you, I am here to answer all your questions. If you ask your questions to me, I'll answer these questions to the best of my ability.
All right. So my question to you is, do you accept that there were glaring shortcomings in the kind of firefighting equipment that you had in your hospital, because of which people lost their lives, Dr. Banerjee?
I do not accept that there was any shortcoming in the firefighting equipment at all.
Is it true that the last fire safety audit was done in 2013?
It is very true that the last fire safety audit was done by the fire department in 2013. They had given us a no objection certificate, and that certificate did not have a shelf life. So that certificate, as far as I am concerned, is still valid, and I have portions of the certificate with me. If you wish, I can show it, display it for the viewers.
Mr. DC Kukreja, who is the Managing Director and Principal Architect at CP Kukreja Associates, is also there with us. You think this is enough? Having a fire safety certificate from 2013, Mr. Kukreja, because it has no shelf life. So let things go. If there is a fire one day, we'll see. Apparently there are no shortcomings.
Padmaja, first of all, no, Padmaja, I have to say that it really is dismaying. My heart goes out to people who have died, their relatives, and it's very, very sad, because if you see our National Building Code, if you see the Fire Safety Chapter 4, or even the other codes that we have for building construction, they are perhaps one of the most stringent in the world. So when those kind of codes exist, it appalls me that when it comes to running, functioning buildings, why do we allow them to fall apart? We meet the codes just on paper or sometimes in the beginning of the project, and once buildings are under operation, nobody bothers about it. And this is a tragedy which might have happened in Bhubaneswar today, but I am, through your media channel, wanting people to understand that this is something which can happen anywhere in India, across the country. Because
do you think, Mr. Kukreja, that there were shortcomings inside the hospital? Because Dr. Banerjee says there were none.
No, I don't believe that really, although I haven't been to the site, but I don't believe that, because if the codes were followed, where there are so many things about starting from smoke fire alarm systems, automatic alarm systems, automatic sprinklers. So if there is a fire in, like here it's being mentioned, the dialysis unit, within sprinklers would have turned on automatically and contained the fire. Then as far as hospitals go, there is supposed to be fresh air ducting which should be provided, so that most of the people actually die because of the smoke, and within 58 seconds a man can die unless there is oxygen provided to him. So if there is
was all of this there, Dr. Amit Banerjee?
Which is requirement as per the codes, I don't see why something like this would have happened.
So the building code was followed scrupulously.
Yes, I am in total agreement with Mr. Kukreja that there is a need for a code like that in place. We have such a code in place, and because that kind of a code was made operational,
it's there
that we were
already.
able to...
the code is already there, you just have to implement it. And if the building code was really implemented by the word, by your hospital, why the deaths?
Would you allow me to continue, please? Because I am just replying to the statement which Mr. Kukreja made. We have got a fire safety code. The fire clearance that was given to us was subject to the condition that we will have on regular basis fire safety drills, and we continue to have fire safety drills for all our staff on a regular basis. The last such drill was done a day before the Independence Day, and let me tell you,
Dr. Banerjee, these sham drills are really no good. They were good for the people who died. They are not going to come back. However much you might talk about your drills. Neelam Krishnamurthy, can you please come in on this? What is this charade about fire safety drills? 3 years ago we took a certificate.
I'm very
shocked. I take exception to the use of the word sham.
They've been maintaining everything. They are supposed to maintain, even if they've got the fire clearances, who's going to maintain them? It's their responsibility. It's a shame. No, I'm sorry, it's a shame. You're not even accepting that you're at fault. You should at least come and apologize, accept that you're responsible for the death of these 20 precious lives.
Well,
it's an absolute sham what you're saying, that you maintained everything. Had these things been functional, I'm telling you, no lives would have been lost.
Well, if you do not allow me to complete my statement,
I do not agree with you at all. At least be decent enough to accept.
Unless I complete my statement, what are you disagreeing with, madam?
Oh, you should be sorry, but you should be sorry for those precious lives.
Yes, I am very sorry that so many lives were lost.
No,
I'm very
no,
sorry
Dr.
that
Banerjee,
you
Dr.
realize
Banerjee,
but I am very
just
satisfied.
exactly what your dean
I
has
am very
said.
satisfied that we followed the code.
Exactly,
The
because
misfortune
that is
was-
the stand
Please
of the
listen.
hospital. They
The
all have to
misfortune
stick
was
together
that a
now
large
because
number
now
of
FIRs
patients
have been
were on
registered.
ventilators.
Dr. Banerjee,
Please
Dr. Banerjee, these drills, we all know what the reality of these so-called
understand
these
that-
certificates and drills are. Welcome back. If yesterday the country saw the horror of the fire at the SUM Medical College in Bhubaneswar, which led to the death of 20 people, today it was the horror of the brazenness and the callousness of the people who run that hospital. Dr. Amit Banerjee, Vice Chancellor of the SUM Medical College, is with us. Dr. Banerjee, you said that all the precautions were taken. I have a simple question for you. How did 20 people die then?
Yes, Miss Professor Padmaja Joshi, let me tell you that in a critical care situation, when an evacuation process starts, there are three issues involved. One is evacuation of people who are on ventilators, assuring full safety by transferring them to temporary devices. Secondly, to douse out the fire at the shortest possible time. And third is to avoid a stampede-like situation by onlookers and relatives of the patients, so that, there is no crowd causing hampering of the evacuation process. So taking all these three things into together, obviously, when the fire was doused out, a lot of smoke fumes had collected there. And that is why a majority of the patients
But it
who
shouldn't
did
have,
not
Dr.
survive.
Banerjee, considering that all the precautions were taken. There were proper
Yes.
ducting so that the smoke
Yes.
would have been removed from the wards.
Well, it is a competition between the speed in which the smoke is getting collected versus the speed in which the duct is throwing it out. So obviously the smoke gathered much faster at that point of
Unbelievable.
time.
Neelam Krishnamurthy, would you like to say something?
Well,
It's almost
it's
like
a
we should be patting the hospital on the back
I would
No.
like
for
to,
a
I would
yeoman's
like to
job that they've
interject
done.
I'd just like to say one thing, Padmaja.
I would like to
I
interject
think
here
Dr.
and
Banerjee has
inform.
had a... Padmaja, can I speak now?
Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
Can I say something? Yeah, I think Dr. Banerjee has already been to a good legal mind and they've already prepared the defense because they're saying whatever they're going to say in the courts. So they are not going to accept their moral responsibility that yes, we are responsible for the death. We did not comply with all the fire safety measures, because had they complied with all of them, I'm telling you, the smoke would have been extracted by the smoke extractors, the water sprinkler would have diluted the gases, the fire alarm would have gone off. But nothing of the sort happened. What I saw on the television on one of the channels, that saw the smoke for almost 1 hour. I think that was precious time which was lost. That's the precious hour, that's the golden hour where you can save a lot of lives.
Dr. Banerjee, your
So they
legal
should
defense
actually
aside,
accept,
out
for
of,
once they should accept it's some
sheer
mistake
empathy,
instead of giving this
would you
defense.
want to take this moment to just apologize to the kin of the 20 people who died?
Professor Padmaja Joshi, we have instituted 3 inquiries. There is one inquiry which is internal by the university and 2 inquiries have been instituted by the government. And when these inquiries are going on, at this point of time, I don't think I can preempt or I can pre-decide as to what exactly went wrong. So let the inquiries be complete. Let us find out what went wrong. Let us
Well,
find
Dr.
out who
Amit
is at
Banerjee,
fault.
with due
Let us
respect to
find
you,
out what
it
is at
doesn't
fault.
take an inquiry for you to just apologize. 20 people have died, 20
Well,
families have been bereaved, but clearly an apology is too much to ask
Well,
for. Anyway,
well,
thank you very much. We'll see what the
Professor-
outcome of that inquiry is. For the time being, we're completely out of time on our first debate. Thanks for joining us on the first debate. The other big story of today, and it's the political hot potato elections coming closer in Uttar Pradesh and in Ram Temple.